All right, we in here, man. Let's go.
What up, y'all? It's Rap Latte. I'm Torre.
And I'm King Green. These are deeper conversations about hip hop. And we're regretfully, especially on my end, still talking about this guy who's going through these manic episodes. Like we have to realize and understand that. But the one thing that I would like to say is like, yes, Kanye said a lot. Kanye said that he was jealous of Kendrick. Kanye said this about his baby mother. Kanye said this about all these rappers. Kanye is off. And we should be off Kanye. But Torre, tell me what you thought about this. You watched this whole thing. You just watched this whole
Yeah,
thing. Tell me what
of course I watched the whole
you a
thing, and
Kanye sympathizer.
I think I think there's still something to be learned about Kanye. Like I come to an interview where he's wearing the black KKK fit with the, let's say, mastica necklace. And I'm like, why? And all the things that Kanye has been like early Kanye, we might have assumed, oh, he's being ironic. But now, because he's MAGA, because he's playing footsie with neo schmazzies, because he's saying anti-black and anti-Semitic things, it's like, well, maybe he actually believes this and he agrees with this, and this is in line. So I need you to say what you're talking about. There was actually some critical moments where he begins to
Why do you
kind
think
of
there's
talk
something to be
about that.
learned? I want to
Because
understand
I'm
that because
trying to
there
figure
is a
because I'm trying to figure out what it is that he's doing and why he's doing it. Hold on, you pointed it out a really important moment. I'm trying to read my notes where he's talked about. I mean, he's very much in the mode of no one can cancel me. So he's flaunting his sort of cultural and economic privilege. I think he thinks this makes
this is
him seem
gross.
smarter, for sure. I think it seems makes him seem smarter than other people. He's playing the trolling game, and I think as we see the Manosphere trolling game is I say something to you that is offensive and perhaps beyond the line of what is acceptable socially, and if you get upset, you lose. That's the game that he's playing, just on a higher level. There was I can't. My notes are hard to read. You'll see when you get older. There was what was the point you pointed out to me that you were like that was in the middle of the episode, and I'm like that helped me get at what he's trying to do here.
One, he's not trying to do anything of any value, so I want to make sure
Mm.
that's pointed out there. And it's just very selfish. He's a megalomaniac. This is just
Mhm.
completely about himself and however he feels in the moment. And and it's gross, like what you said, using that. So I got to make that before I said that. But what he said was that um, speaking to the Jewish community, he said that I'm wearing y'all pain because y'all profit off of ours,
Yeah,
which is
it
not
was
even
probably to
true
the
because
music.
he's wearing
It's
a
probably
KKK mask
yes,
and
it's probably to
outfit.
the music industry in general, and their notion in his mind of you are celebrating black pain, black warfare, the N word. So I'm going to pull out the symbols against my world, my community, and against Jewish people, which is not your community, and push them back on you. Green, if discussing Kanye's psychology is disgusting to you, which I respect, we could kind of shift this to he represents a way that a lot of this sort of toxic mask, Andrew Tate manosphere young man is feeling. So I'm not simply saying what is Kanye's motivation here, but what is the young manospheric man thinking and feeling and doing? And he is one of them and he represents them and he's a leader for them. So his psychological games, because these are all games, does help us understand a part of the world uh that is very dangerous in our
Yeah,
estimation.
all of their
So
motivations is insatiable personal gain and complete dominance. The
I
idea
mean
of that concept.
he has an interesting and interesting just as far as on an anthropological level, I'm trying to understand the manospheric man. He says, if I know someone that's woke, you got to tell me what tweets you didn't like so I can do it more, because that's when we're weakening the enemy. So you're looking at the world as enemies and allies. You're looking at attacking them through pop cultural things, events, social media, whatever. You're trying to push to the buttons that whatever triggers you the most, that's what I'm going to say. So these are some of the things that I think we see from the Elon Musk, the Andrew Tate, and the other sort of manosphere sort of people.
Yeah, and that's why Academics is like the perfect person to try to platform this type of ridiculousness, because he's a part of that. And the reason why we need to combat that, and the reason why we're here, is to combat this is idiocracy. That's what we're living in right now. You got your
Yeah.
president who represents that. You
Yeah.
have the most famous people in entertainment representing these concepts, and it's detrimental to a lot of young people. People are like seeing this and being okay with this. Like, I understand that two things are true. People are impressionable, and
Yeah.
this can be taken as something grand. Like, you ever seen that show Adolescence on Netflix or heard about it?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like an expose on this concept. Some people feel like it's a little bit grand. I feel like that too,
Did
of a
you like the
thing.
show?
I liked a lot about the show. I do feel like there's things I didn't like. It's 50-50 with me on the show. Sometimes like the one shot thing. There's things about, because it's a TV show. So, but conceptually, I'm like, I get where y'all coming from. But anyways, that's like attacking this space, right? It's attacking the red pill space,
Right.
and they should be attacked. But a lot of times, if you appeal to just how people feel in their moments, in their erraticness and all that, they can go, they can attach themselves to this. And that's the whole thing with Kanye. Kanye said, like, you were trying to make it, oh, this is the reason why he's doing it. And he's doing it. He doesn't have any thoughts. He started talking about Illuminati and stuff. And amazingly, Academics goes, wait a minute. So since you're a billionaire, I feel that we all feel like you might have information that we don't have because you're a billionaire. And he tells us flat out, he goes, you know what? I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just saying what I feel. I don't have
Yeah,
any facts or data. I'm just
I
saying
wrote
what I
that
feel.
I wrote that down. My enemy might think I'm strategic, but I'm not strategic. I just lean into what I really feel, and I say my truth, and whatever comes with it comes with it.
Yeah, it's
I'm not strategic. I'm just spewing. Like, okay, 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 that makes sense because it's all over the fucking place.
it's all over the place. And a lot of people, like, let's read this. Screwface is on right now, and Screwface is saying, like
My
you said, what is there
man.
to learn about Kanye, why he's doing this and all of that, and you're trying to do the red pill stuff and all of that. And Screwface says to roll his album out, Toure, like always. That's why he's doing it.
Sure.
He's no longer confident in his music anymore. Simple as that. I feel like we try to make it deeper than it, and he knows that. And I wholeheartedly 50-50 agree with that. The thing is, he's always said things to roll out his album, always got attention. And the
Mhm.
thing is that we would agree with some of the things that he was talking about, and he did have a point. When he's telling Sway he doesn't have the answers, he is dealing with combating Anna Wintour and freaking
Mhm.
Louis Vuitton, Bernard
Mhm.
Arnault,
Mhm.
and combating these structures and infrastructures that won't let him into the structure. Whereas Sway was saying, "Hey, how about you just build your own?" And he's like, "One, I'm
I
supposed to
can't.
just sell T-shirts. I can't build my own. They own the factories. I can't get this high level quality." So that's what he was saying.
And then he
Now
learned he could.
it's not so much that he learned he could. It's a completely different perspective on it. It's not that he really learned he could. He took t-shirts, made them in China, and sold them to a different place. He wouldn't be able to do that without going to Adidas before. Like, that doesn't exist without.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
you can't. So people acting like, oh, he just
Because he
did.
got institutional whatever, imprimatur, then he's
connections.
able to do it indie.
Exactly. And
Okay.
brand got to the place where it mattered. Like Jesus was going to be the first brand that, and this is why we're talking about this. I know a lot of people are tired of talking about Ye, but it's like where he was going when it comes to us in the culture, it was the first of its kind. And then seeing it fall from grace in such a way is a negative hit on where things could have gone, where things were going, and where things are now, and who controls it. So there is an issue with talking about Kanye, but there's an issue with not understanding what's happening as it's going right now too. I just wanted to
Yeah.
respond to that because
I
I just want to respond to that. That's a response to when are we going to stop talking about? Yeah, I legit have no energy for him anymore, and I can't even listen to his back catalog, Love, and that's talent. And I get that we can't listen to it, but there's things that are happening now that we need to have the right frame of mind and understanding of what's happening while we're looking
I
at it.
no, and I agree with that. And there's certain things that he said that I'm going to ignore because it's not illuminating at all, and it's just stupid stuff. Some of it is anti-Semitic. Uh, why repeat that? You haven't illuminated anything, just in terms of how you and other manospheric men think. Um, a couple of things. He says the F slur a lot. He says, I'm evil 3 times. And without any sense of regret or remorse, he seems to revel in being evil. And I wonder if he sees himself as a villain. And that's why he links himself to Puffy and to R. Kelly, because it's like, that's my class. That's who I am. I'm a villain. And he wants to be a villain, and not on the like, not in a pop cultural sense, but like he needs therapy and not mental health. He needs therapy to unpack, why do you see yourself as a villain? You know what I mean? Because I think he's sort of trapped in that
Well, I think he's
mindset.
been vilified for so long, and he feels that like everything that I do, whether positive or negative, I'm still going to get talked about in a negative light, which is what he said.
Mhm.
So if you're only seeing the word from a megalomaniac perspective, and you only see the world of people talking about you, I'm so important, that's going to make you act in certain ways. So now you're going to lean in to that
Mhm.
negativity because it's like I already
Mhm.
tried doing this. I tried to come back from Taylor Swift, make the best album ever, wear suits, and be approachable, all that type of stuff. And I still was vilified. You know what I'm
I
saying?
think I,
It's
I
that
think
perspective.
yeah, I think there, it reminds me of a little bit of Elon wearing
He
a
black
baseball
Elon for
hat
real.
and a T-shirt in the Oval Office, because he's uncancelable. Nobody will tell him he can't come back. No one will tell him that he can't do it at all. And this is partly Kanye flaunting his uncancelability, and he kind of references that several times about, you can't cancel me on post cancellation, so he can wear whatever he feels, he can think whatever. They on the right, they think they are independent thinkers. We recognize their thought as being very much sheep and in lockstep with what their leaders like Jordan Peterson and Andrew Tate are telling them to think, but they think that they are independent thinkers, which is funny. um just as he attacks both Virgil and Jay-Z in this, and
Mm.
feels justified. Two of the people who have been closest to him, who have helped lift him up, or he has helped lift them also. It's stunning to hear him say these things about Virgil, who Ack note says he can't fight back. Like, why are you talking about him of all people? But for
Yeah.
the most part, Ack is completely worthless in this conversation. He is completely beyond his depth intellectually, and the
Yeah.
time he spends gassing
You know what I
Kanye
thought was
about how
funny?
great he is, and we still love you no matter what you do. I mean, like, are the knee
Yeah.
pads strong enough for you? Because you're way the head, you are way bob in the head there.
Fam,
Like,
fam.
so embarrassing.
That's what I don't like about it. Him saying that it's like, oh, we still, no matter what you do, we still that there's people like that though. There's people who watch this, there's people who see this man in a black KKK outfit and be like, let me make sense of this. You see what he's trying to say? No, he just he. I think he said he hates all y'all, that he's evil, and then this Christians who are going to be like, well, he's still Christian. It's like he literally denounced it and said he was evil. And then like what else
I
do
mean,
you need? But
when you get
let me
on,
say this. Let me say this
okay.
about um the Virgil stuff and all that. Is where it's like he's attacked. This is clearly like a lonely person, right? A person that's
Mhm,
been
mhm.
isolated to its core and has no trust and feel like betrayal seems like at an all-time high. And then you're also off those drugs like nitrous and all that stuff. They'll make you hallucinate and everyone's against you. There's a high paranoia, all the time, all of that, right? So given that perspective and him talking about all these people, he's trying to isolate and put himself in that space because he feels like none of these people are helping him, right? And
Okay.
that's a megalomaniac's reaction to things. It's like I got to get rid of all these people, and him talking about Virgil and and people passing, people who were talented around him, leaving him and betraying him. He what I thought that was what was interesting is like he was like Drake should be writing for me. He said
Yeah.
Cardi should be making music with me. The head
Trav,
of Fear of God, Trav, should be making music for me. The head of Fear
Jerry
of God
Lorenzo.
should be making clothes for me.
Post. Mhm.
All these people are talented people that came up under him, and since they went and branched out into their own things, he's like, why did you leave? You guys left me. You should be making me more important and more powerful. And he says this in his statement about Kendrick, which is his video is called, which makes you understand the mind frame is that I was jealous of Kendrick. No one is supposed to have anything to this person. And there's only one thing that exists. There's only one mind state, a megalomaniac, complete narcissist. No one is supposed to have anything good. You're not supposed to have something better than me. Your woman, your money, everything that he thinks is important, he needs to be at the top of. We got some super chats too that I want to put in there.
Yeah, let's do
But
it.
say whatever you wanted to say.
Well,
If
one thing that keeps coming up, he is an aggrieved father. He is a divorced father who, out of his mouth, isn't seeing his kids enough or doesn't have enough control over what his kids are allowed to do. And that keeps coming out. That's the first note of the conversation that he sort of act awkwardly tries to get him to talk about what he's wearing, and he immediately goes into talking about his children and being a father. And Ack tries to move on to another issue, and he interrupts him and says, I need to say something else about my children. So that's like what's top of brain for him. I'm not seeing my kids enough. I don't have
yeah.
enough control
Hmm.
of them. He seems like a poster child for the horrible ex-husband who won't like stop bothering his wife who's trying to do right by the kids. And he's like, yeah, but I want to take them to Hooters for their birthday party. And she's like, the kid is 6. What are you talking about? Like, that's not
Hooters for
appropriate
the
at
birthday
all.
party.
I can't do
It's like
anything
forget
I
Chuck E.
want with my
Cheese.
children. Men don't have any freedom in this society. Nigga, you wanted to go to Hooters with your 6-year-old. Like, shut the fuck up. But the other thing, and I'm sure this jumped out at you, he seems to be fearless. I wear whatever I want. No one can cancel me. No one can stop me. But at the same time, he says he is afraid to wear these things out in the street. So why is tough guy Kanye, who can talk his way out of any situation, who says he's got security with
I don't
him,
feel like he thinks he's a tough guy. I feel like he has the freedom. He's saying he has the freedom of his voice. He's said he's like I'm not a tough guy. He's like I'm not a killer. I'm not a gangster. All that. It's more
but
about
he is,
his freedom of
yes,
voice.
but yeah, but an intellectual tough guy, right? Because toward the end, he's like, rappers are dumb. I'm intelligent. Again,
Oh, I
puts
love
himself
that statement.
in the line with
He don't
Steve
read, and he
Jobs.
said rappers are dumb. He said
Right,
people who
right,
read.
right. And he does the whole thing of Steve Jobs, Walt Disney, me, right? Like I'm
Yeah.
that level of like fine, whatever. But why are you like why are you so badass that you'll wear it in a private room on the internet, but you know that you'll get in trouble if you wear it out in the street? He said they'll put me in the hospital if I wear it in the street. And Ack assumed, and I think he was assumed you mean like conservatorship, like Britney Spears, but I think on some level too, it's like somebody would be like, no, somebody would run up and try to punch him in the face You know what I mean? Like, not everybody's gonna be like, "You're Kanye. I'm gonna let you do whatever you want." Like, nah, money. You keep wearing the Klan thing out. You wear the swastika, the Gnostica out too much. Somebody's gonna be like, "No, I don't care who you are. I'm knocking you out. I don't give a fuck." And they should. They should.
Yeah, I
Uh,
mean that's kind of my
but
whole
why
point
is
and
he
why I
afraid?
bring this
Why is
up.
he so Billy Badass as far as the image, but to wear it IRL, he's afraid? That's weird.
I don't think that's weird at all. That's everybody. Like, it's not weird. People are punks in real life. Like, in real life, everybody's a damn punk. Like, when it comes
But
down,
he's not most people, and he pretends or acts like I'm at least an
he doesn't
intellectual tough.
pretend or act like. Cameras go on, places where he can amplify his voice. This is where he talks. Places, so you're talking about real life. Like, this guy, like, the most interesting thing about this video was him packing his own backpack to me. I'm looking at this man packing his backpack, and one, I'm like, you look foolish the way that you pack a backpack. It's like that's a horrible way to pack your backpack. And I'm looking at how human you are. It's like you are packing this backpack, you're about to go into this suburban. You said all this wild shit, and like you're saying, you could just get smacked in your face for having that hood on, and you look ridiculous having this on. So I don't have that question because I know that people are not really about that life. They're not. IRL is not. People don't live there. This is the internet. People want to amplify their voice. They want to be important. And the number one thing too I realize is like we gave people act like these albums that were really good by his matter. Like, no, like when I say matter, I'm talking about matter. Like you didn't. This wasn't the civil rights movement. This wasn't
Mm,
this wasn't
mm,
uh,
mm. You're
uh,
an artist.
uh,
You're not Malcolm
Reconstruction.
X.
This is not
Mhm.
Reconstruction. This wasn't
You're not.
Black Wall Street.
You're not
You
the
did
Black
nothing
Panther.
for us. I don't care
Mhm.
about anything you
100%.
did. You gave me some
Yeah.
slaps, and
Yeah.
all the brilliance that was in your lyrics, I come to find out was all these other brilliant lyricists. So I do not care. I don't care. I separate you from any of that. I fully have separated him from that, and I also recognize and have remorse and sadness for the fall of this like human being and where he is in his mental illness. There's some mental illness there. So I just want
I
to make
don't
sure
think this is I don't think this is about mental illness, and I think that risks
when I say mental illness, I don't want to say that word, but I'm saying like he needs therapy. We could say that, correct?
100%, for
So
sure.
let me just say that. And instead of
Okay.
blanketly say mental
Because we're
illness.
because people talk about the bipolar as a way of excusing him and making it like we shouldn't be covering him when he's having manic episodes rather than him owning responsibility for saying these horrific things in
Yeah.
public. And we both know it's not bipolarism or mental health issues that's making him say racist and anti-Semitic things.
Yeah.
One thing I want to underline, especially for the young guys who are watching this, and I suspect our audience knows, but like he says, they pulled out a video of Puff and Cassie. I don't know somebody that hasn't gotten into an altercation with their girl at one point.
That was
I
so
haven't.
wild.
I
Me.
haven't. I'm sure you
I've
haven't.
never I've never hit a woman in my life.
Never laid hands on a woman. Obviously, we've
And you know
had
what? Most
la-
of my friends, 99%
right.
of them, I would say the same thing. I'm only
No,
leaving a 1% because I don't know.
because you don't no, but it's what you know. If one of your friends told
Completely.
you, yeah, I had to hit my girl because da da
I'm
da
gonna look at
da,
them crazy.
we're not friends anymore. I
Yeah,
can't
we're
rock
not
with
cool.
you. Like, what the fuck?
What are
And
we
like,
doing here?
what are we? I mean,
Like,
it doesn't matter how loud and angry the fight gets. It doesn't matter if she hits you. You still can't hit her, even if she punches you. You have to leave or at least diffuse the situation.
I
You hold her. Just hold her. I've been
don't
there.
even want to get
I'm
into the
holding you,
specifics of
so
that
you
because it's
can't
like,
attack
why are
me
we there?
anymore.
Why are
But
we
there's
physically in
no
that space?
way. There's no way that you can hit a woman in any situation. So this notion of like, well, everybody does it. I'm like, oh
No,
my
that's
god. And I
that is just crazy. You shouldn't. Domestic violence in a relationship doesn't matter if it's a man, woman, woman. No, it's that like let's just stay there. It shouldn't be there.
well,
Violence should
you
not
know,
be
I
there.
I mean, obviously, in a domestic situation, it should not be there. But obviously, the sociological, physiological differences between man and woman, you know, if you get to the nth degree and
Yeah, I don't
she
think we
hits
even need to
you,
declare that.
you
I get
still
that.
can't hit her. But
Yeah, that's an
we
ethics
all
thing.
understand it. We all understand
Yeah,
it.
that's an
Our
ethics thing.
friend, our friend Justin, I was texting with him. He watched this twice. I don't know how he got through this interview twice. He
Justin
said,
Hunt?
yeah. He said Kanye's been selling like MAGA hats, Confederate flags, Mastica chains, these sort of things. He said he's been selling those things longer than he hasn't. And I'm like, why? I didn't do the math on it, but like it's
Mm-hmm.
been a long time that he's been popping this shit. He sat down with Trump with the hat on in 2016 at the very beginning of Trump won. And now we're here years later.
So a decade
This
later.
nigga, this
Well, the
nigga deep
thing
in
is,
this
I've
shit.
always said that you're talking about a sponge, right? Someone
Mm.
who's a curator, has a amazing ability to curate content
Mhm.
and produce content, right? And
Mhm.
he's a sponge. So when people are around him, and if everybody's around on some Black Power shit, Black family shit, right? That's who he
Mhm.
was. He changes the people around him, and it's on some famous shit, Hollywood shit. Let's be the biggest star shit. Now that's who he was. He's hanging around Lady Gaga. He's trying to be those star. Now the people around him introducing him into fashion and all that type of stuff. That's who he was. He was the fashion person. Now people around
Mhm.
him being MAGA. That's who he is. The guy is a follower trying to act like a leader, and
Mhm.
all he does is pick out things that he thinks is cool to create his personality.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
I it's too visibly there for me to be like, even to rock with him. You know what I'm trying to say? It's like he's not truly anything. I just realized, I'm like, oh, you're really just nothing. Like when someone's something, like someone like a Tyler the Creator, there's things that you could make a through line from Tyler the Creator, from him being a 17-year-old to a 33-year-old, that are still the same, just more developed, right?
Mm.
Kanye has changed 15 different times,
Mhm. Mhm.
not evolved,
Mhm.
changed.
Yep.
And that's something that I've come to realize. It's like you're not growing and changing, evolving. You are trying to change who you are. You don't like who you are.
Mhm. I
That's what you
I
realize. You don't like who you are, and people who
I
follow him don't like who they are.
I definitely think he doesn't like who he is. He
It's
probably
unfortunate.
still holds a lot of blame and guilt around his mother's death. I don't know what he's holding around the dissolution of the Kim marriage and family, but he's still very upset about the loss of that family. Um, there's a lot, and I also think that there's a weird thing. This goes back to the manospheric stuff, that there's a contrarian impulse, but there's also a self-congratulatory impulse in that I am able to say things that you are not, and I am able to divorce thought from emotion. So I
Mm.
say, the trolling thing, like I love the mustache man, and that angers us.
I love the
How
mustache man.
dare you say that? We're offended.
Yeah,
And he's like, see, I can have that thought without getting upset. You got emotional, so you lose. Right? So I'm so smart that I can have these thoughts and not be emotionally moved by them, which is very masculine, right?
but
You're
he's
having
very
feelings,
emotionally moved by
you
everything,
lose.
which is the craziest thing. He's
Mm-mm.
very emotional. And when I think about this, when he said the thing, he's like, these people are controlled by the Jewish community and the white people on top of him. And he's saying these things, and he creates these things. It completely shows how his brain works, because how his actually brain works is he sees things that are complex in the
Mhm.
world, and he simplifies it, so he can like retain that information. So he sees like, oh, all these managers and all these people in this label are like, oh, they're part of this community, oh, so they're controlling me, and now all of this is bad. It's that simple for him, and that's how he like synthesizes information into, so he can make, so it can be palatable for him, and why he makes ridiculous statements and makes ridiculous imagery when it comes to politics, because politics and being a thought leader doesn't is way more complex, and you can't simplify things. in that
You know.
way. But when it comes to music, you can. But let me get some of these live
Mhm,
um
mhm, mhm.
these chats in here. And before I say that, let me say there's 900 people in here. We are
Right.
back live. Rap Lattes here. Please hit us with the likes. Go to the video itself and get those likes up. Let's get it up to like 500. Now, we are Matt Hemming, our boy. Don't assume
My
anything
man, thank
Yahtzee
you for coming
says
back.
is what he really means or feels, whether it's a ploy or a breakdown. We play ourselves by giving him some such credit. Yes, I do not give him credit. As you saw, I went through the whole thing that is like, this dude's a follower who acts like a leader. And I've known a lot of those people in my life. We've seen those people. They see other people winning and they want to win, so they pick and choose things from these people to create their environment and themselves. And there's a lot of artists like that. I'm not really talking about Sway. This is Screwface Jean, friend of the show. I'm not really talking about Sway. That wasn't trolling. I'm talking about MAGA running for president. Slavery was a choice. Clear rage bait. That's what he does. Roll out albums. He knows what he's doing. He knows how to get attention. Does he know what he's doing? No,
Yeah,
because he doesn't know
no.
who he is. But he knows that this will get attention. That's the only thing that he knows.
But we as human beings also have to understand the difference between good attention and bad attention, and children don't understand that, and I think people who are in extreme trauma may not understand that, and it
Yeah.
definitely seems like Kanye is part of that class of performance artists, sort of artists who don't understand the difference or choose to not understand the difference between good attention and bad attention. There's no good attention coming out of, did you see Kanye in the Black Klan fit? Now, we're all having that conversation. I texted 4 people who I don't normally text on a given day. Say, yo, you see that shit? So the attention is there, but it's not good attention. It makes us hate and look down on him even more. I'm talking about him anthropologically, just trying to understand him. I'm not like, this is great. I
Yeah.
can't wait to listen to what else he has to say if
Can you
he's
say
so.
now that? Let me ask you. Can you say now that
Right.
that you'll never listen to an album again, or you still gonna listen? Oh, I can't believe you.
See,
I can't believe you. That's
we're
ridiculous.
emotionally in the same place, right? And we had
Uh,
this conversation with Professor Sky. As intellectuals and academics, we want to look at a text and put it in context. We don't say, I refuse to consume it because you're a horrible person. I will consume it once on the level of, you're a horrible person. I want to see where you are at this moment in your career. But I'm not going to be bumping bully for pleasure and fun. I would be analyzing it specifically to say, you're out of your fucking gourd
but he
for.
has five trash albums or four trash
I
albums.
know.
Why? What? I don't do this for anybody else. I'm trying to think of somebody who has trash albums. I don't like to
If,
put people out down, but there's
if
people who have
you
trash albums that I don't listen to because they're trash.
if you were in college or graduate school and you were studying the history of Germany, would you
Mm.
not expect to be asked to read the Mustache Man's book, My Struggle? They
Yes,
would they read the book. They read it in context of, he's a horrible person and this represents the horrible ideology that was part of what Germany was about for a certain period of
but
time.
we don't look at his paintings.
Well, yes, but I would argue that Kanye's music is my struggle. It's
I
not
don't.
his paintings. The music is the center of what he does. So you come out with a new album. I just want to see what it. And like I said, we had this conversation with Sky, and I'm like, as academics, we don't reject a text. We would look at it in context, and I would
I'm
say,
gonna do a poll in the chat to see
good,
how many people
good.
listened to Bully and how many people did not, and see if you're on the wrong side of our audience at least.
Well, no, but I mean, like, I welcome people saying, "I don't wanna listen to it. I think
Of
he's a
course,
horrible
I don't
person."
think if people want to
I
listen to
support
something,
that. I
it's just
also
music.
under I also under and I also support and understand the notion of academic inquiry. This person is a horrible person. Let's just see what they did, just to put it into context, and then we'll move on. But we're not gonna I'm never gonna rock it as a fan. I could never just be like, "Kanye's so fun, he's so funny."
I
Like,
think some people just had so much respect and adoration for this guy that it's so hard for them to like detach themselves. Whereas like I have respect and adoration for work. I really don't care about the
The
artists
person.
as a person. Yeah, I care about art and their work. But let me get back to this because we got a lot of super chats. First of all,
Yeah.
Joe Big Green, my brother, keep it up, y'all, and a bunch of check marks. Thank you so much. Ye called himself the closest thing to God, and doesn't even realize his story of falling from grace is closer to the life of Satan due to his pride. He creates storms and gets mad when he doesn't have an umbrella. And he puts a middle finger and Kanye. Yes, he is the supposed story of Satan is the was a musician that and a fallen angel, right? So
Oh, I didn't know Satan was a musician. I missed that part.
I believe that is chat. Let me know if I'm making that up. More
I'm
biblically
not arguing
sound
with you.
too.
I've just never heard that,
No,
but I'm not mad
that's
at
what I'm
you.
saying. I want someone who is a little bit a better Christian to get in the chat and let me know.
Look,
Um,
here's Afro Butterfly on the super chats.
mhm.
We will refuse to consume it because you are a horrible person. She says, is the correct answer. And the ad pops up. The difference is streaming equals support equals funding the behavior. That's an interesting point. I'm gonna disagree with you. I think, and partly because, and Green could probably pull this out on top of your head. Stream it. I mean, I can consume the album through YouTube, which is not directly to you. If I want to go so far as to make sure Kanye isn't getting a penny from me. But like for me to listen to a song of his on streaming, Green, what would that be like? Less than a cent?
0.0003 cents.
Yeah, like a fraction of a cent. So I'm not
So
making.
point three
I'm making
zeros and a
less.
three.
Yeah, I'm making less than a material difference in playing it one time. And
Well, in the attention economy, which some people like to say,
mm,
like, oh, a narcissist plus the algorithm and all this. Any attention it's just numbers, right? So the more
that's what he's
attention,
playing on.
the more power you have, the
Mhm.
more influence you have. That's a true statement. Like the more attention something has, the more power it does have in this day and age. It
Do
didn't
you
make
think he's
sense in the
gained power from this?
yes,
Really? I don't
100%
think so.
yes.
I don't think so. I think almost everybody who sees this moment looks down on him and is like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
What about the people who don't look down on him? No one ever thinks about those guys. No one thinks of people. You know what? I fuck what he's saying. What about the people of any race, any who are like, you know what? I agree with them. We always think about what we think. We never think about what the other people think, and that's the problem.
I mean, look, the people who agree with him
They
are
not always agreed with him also before. Some people just think chalk it out like, oh, that person was racist already. No, what about the young kid who's like, yeah, what you know what? I walk around the street. No one ever called me a nigga before, right? Think about a young black kid who's like, no
Mhm,
one ever called me that
mhm.
before, and I got friends who are from different cultures or different places like that. You know what? He's right. Like that doesn't. I could wear this chain and I could wear these things and I can express myself in the way that he's doing it, which is actually detrimental to my culture because you don't know the forces and system that exists here to destroy you and hurt you. So you feel like it's cool because you're friends with Ahmad, Jerry, Lamar, Chris, Brad, uh,
Sure.
Victor Nugan. You have an array of friends in so many different cultures, and you're like, yeah, racism is dead to you, and you don't even know that the shit's here to destroy you.
You know, somebody, I think it was on TikTok, was talking about, as Gen Z, we have access to more education more easily than any generation's ever had before. And that's probably true. And if you're Gen Z or a young millennial, the end of the millennials, and you consume just enough information to think that Kanye is correct, and you don't do any work on Google to challenge those things or talk to any reasonable
Who does
person
that?
to challenge those things. What I don't know how I can save you or even
Didn't
care
you make a
about you.
video? Didn't you make a video? First of all, we got 1,000 people in here. I want a
Thank
thousand
you.
likes. And if you're watching
Thank
this later, because we're live right now, like the video so we could get up to 1,000 likes. I want to make sure people see us. Now, what was you made a video about the decline of black males going to college, correct?
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
So
Right now
that's a
at Howard
pipeline.
University is 19% black men. They have as many non-black people at Howard as black men. It's all black women there, which is great for them, but we also need black men also
It
going
isn't
to
great for
four-year
them.
college.
That
No,
isn't
it's great
great
for
for
the
black
women.
women.
It's great for the sisters. Good, they are doing their thing. The sisters are
No, I'm
your mom
saying they're
included
doing
are
their
like
thing as
going,
they.
getting. They are the most educated demographic in the country, and that is fantastic. But the black men are holding us back.
Yeah, but black women love black men, believe it or not. And that's
No, I
not good
know.
for them. It's not good for them for a whole bunch of uneducated black niggas to be walking around and people
No,
who are
no,
who are,
no, 100%, 100%. It has long-term impacts on the
exactly.
creation of nuclear families when we have a massive gap between the educational level and the class level, the basic daily culture of a woman who has advanced degrees and she's living an upper middle class life, and a black man who is not.
Yeah, and I think it's detrimental to community as well, because the nuclear family, all that, just community, just like you just have people with different types of thought processes. And I brought that up because if we're talking about how we like this our show, how we dissect music, how we analyze music, we'll go through lyrics, we'll go through albums, we'll really talk about the anthropological side about of it, we'll talk about the actual theory, the narrative and story building, all these things. If you're not primed from lower education to be able to accept that knowledge and to understand that and to be so for this to be comprehensible to you, it's gonna, you know what your first thing is, be like, y'all reaching. That's where that
Hmm.
comes
Hmm.
from. Y'all reaching
Hmm.
because you weren't
Hmm.
taught anything. So when we
Hmm.
talk about this music and we talk about why we analyzing this music or analyzing the culture, you don't understand, because we love the the culture part and the music part. You don't understand why this is happening because you weren't primed to think, to open your mind, to experience things
Mm.
in different ways. And you're talking about a guy who doesn't read, who is very good at synthesizing the things around him to curate what he feels. And music is feeling. So if you're doing everything that you feel, of course you're going to be good at music. He's like he's like feeling to feeling. He transfers the exact feeling to record, right? But you have you don't have deeper thought, and then you have the nerve to tell people that rappers are stupid and they can't count when you don't count your own money. You pay people too much.
And you
You
can't
pay
read.
people. I mean, good for the people that
Is
get paid, but
there?
you pay people too much and you don't read.
I ask this to you and to the chat as a little more people who have a little more understanding of Zoomer
First
culture
of all,
with their
90%
experiences.
of people said that they did not listen to Bully, so you are with the
I
9%,
don't, I
which
don't,
is
I don't,
fine.
I don't mind being in the minority. I'm used to being a minority, but here's the thing: did we over time say, in the notion of wokeness, and I'm using that term in an older, more positive way when it was mostly like
In a
liberals
black
saying like,
way.
hey, yes, in a black way, like, hey,
Yeah.
let's be open-minded to people who are not like us, which is all wokeness means. Be aware that people who don't have your experience have political and socio-political needs, and maybe be aware of what they need. That's all we're asking of you. It's not that complex. You're not have to give away half your rights. But in getting to that and in teaching a generation that, part of what we were saying is all ideas are okay. It's okay to be trans, it's okay to be non-binary, it's okay to be whatever it is you want to be. But did we inadvertently say, okay, it's okay to be whatever you want to be, including racist, including misogynistic, including manosphere bullshit, whatever you want to like, did we say inadvertently everything is okay, and some people were like, oh well, if everything's okay, then I choose that shit?
If everything's explain that again. What do you mean? Did we
If
say inverted?
like we said, everybody's mindset is okay. You don't have to just accept the dominant mindset. We embrace people who are overweight. We embrace
Oh, oh.
people who are, who are Jewish. We embrace people who are trans and non-binary. Whatever you want to do, we embrace you. And at some point, especially the young white men were like, this is an attack on us. Fuck you. We embrace us and racism and sexism. You said everything was okay.
And
What about
technically,
that?
yeah, and
You know what I mean?
technically, you're supposed to be able to say whatever you want. It's just you have to
Mhm.
deal with the repercussions for the things that you said, and you cannot incite any type of violence or danger on any community or community. So technically, that's the rules, right? That you
Mhm.
can say what you want, but they can be repercussions. And if
Mhm.
you say certain things, you will get stopped from certain things that put people in danger. That's so yeah, that's just kind of the whole thing. You're not supposed to say things that uh put people in danger. But
But
look, we got some
Screwface
more.
says,
We got some more.
yeah, Screwface has a super chat. It's still money. So it is funding LOL. He's talking about paying, listening to Kanye's album on any sort of platform. And it adds up. Would you buy Andrew Tate's book for any price? And Ye is empowering a lot of people who hate us. No, of course I wouldn't buy Andrew Tate's book
And he's
for
very
any
much
price. Um, it's a good point. I mean, it's a little bit, the analogy is a little skewed because Tate is purposely trying, like Tate's whole thing is to be misogynist. Kanye is presenting, I have music for you. Also, I'm misogynist and sexist, right? Like Joe Rogan is not like, he doesn't present, I'm right wing, but then he says he has right wing people on, right? So if you consume Joe Rogan, then occasionally you get right wing content. So if you consume Kanye, you get music and beats, and occasionally he says something fucked up and
I
ridiculous.
feel like it's just dancing around by trying to say that you listen to the music, but I don't care. It's just music, so I don't care. And you're a grown person, or if someone's a grown person, but I do think that music makes no sense for a child to listen to any hateful, detrimental music. But it also doesn't make sense for children to listen to rap music that's about freaking killing, drugs, and misogyny too. I'm not. I don't want my
Hey,
do.
hey, they got to learn.
Yeah,
They
but I'm
gotta
saying, I'm
they
saying,
gotta
but I
learn
don't
how
think
to
it's
hold
wrong.
the Glock the right way. What are you
You know what I'm
talking
saying?
about?
But I don't think it's wrong for grown people to listen to these things because you make your own decisions. Some people might understand it, some people might not. Some people might live that life, some people don't live that life. But let me get to this super chat. We got Frederick throwing that through one up there. The Doomer comes in. He says, the question I ask myself about a person, would I leave my kid in their care? With Kanye, hell no. I agree with that
No.
statement.
No, but I mean, you know what though?
He said about a person. He didn't say about their
No,
album.
no, I get you. I get you. I mean, like, I would not leave my younger children, if I still had younger children, with any man who is not in their family. Like, there's no man. I would not expect a man to want or be able to or be interested enough to take care of them unless he was like, oh, me, I want to spend. Now, I would assume most women who are physically and mentally capable could provide a nice experience for the children for 5 minutes, an hour, whatever it is, right? But like
So you
most
wouldn't get a
men,
Manny?
yeah, I mean, like, and we had at least one Manny throughout
Yeah.
our era of having
Help.
people help take care of the kids, like take them home from school and play with them at home for
Yeah.
a little while, this sort of thing. So, I mean, I wasn't against it, but like, it, it just runs out of outside of the norm of
It very
what you
much
would let
does.
him
When I
do.
was younger, I was like in my early 20s, I was a daycare teacher.
Okay,
100%. And the
and
craziest part is that most of the kids were not didn't really have father figures in their lives. And I still know these kids and they still some of these kids came up to me in their 20s talking about like how much me and like my boys, because we all worked there, meant to them as role models. And hearing that and understanding that means so much to me. And I to this day, if I wasn't doing any of the things I'm doing, I still kind of want to open up a daycare. I would work with kids because it's the most important thing in the world. And a lot of these young kids, young boys, need a man there. They need
It,
somebody there.
it's 100% right, and I'm so glad you
So,
said that. And I'm so glad you did that.
so I
Um,
rock with the Mannies.
it took me. It was.
That was
I'm
so
trying to think
wild.
back.
Hold on, that
I
was the
think I was.
wildest statement ever.
I think I was in. I was. I feel you. I think I
Yeah.
was in college the first time I had a black male academic instructor. I had black male teachers in my tennis community, but as far as school from I didn't go to kindergarten, first grade to 12th grade, no black male. There were black male instructors at my school, but I didn't happen to have them. I didn't have Mr. Allen for English. I didn't have Renee for art. So I missed them. The couple of opportunities. Well, Renee was obviously not a woman. I'm not a man, but the couple of men that I could have had, I didn't have. It meant so much. It was so important to have black male instructors. It's really important. And what you did for those kids, giving them a vision of a black male who is nurturing them, who cares about them, that's so powerful for them. Society is definitely not giving us enough of those by any stretch.
I think it's the most important thing in the world. And seeing it, being it, like, and I think that's why when I said the pipeline, when you made that statement, and I didn't know that the numbers, I knew that it was declining amongst males in general, and black males are twice as much, it seems like. But it's like, if it starts as a kid and you don't see anything there, you know what I'm saying? And you're not making it cool to like read books like Kanye, you know what I'm saying? Or it's a reach. Like, there, we're gonna make another episode tomorrow. I saw this comment and it said something like, "Yo, I liked hip hop when people weren't analyzing it and talking about it and shit like that." So you liked being dumb and drugged out
It's
because we've
simple.
always been talking about it. I go to the barbershop, we talk about hip hop. And it's a heated conversation and it's fun. We're laughing. We're saying this nigga's lyrics is track. Yo, that bar over there. And it's a joyous celebration. It's never
Hell
been
yeah.
so contentious till now because you have idiots talking with you. So you have, and that's why we're in the show with just me and you. And we have great people on like Screwface and them, so we could have these joyous conversations because people, idiots like Akademiks and Kanye on that other side, can't even have real conversations. Let's talk about his points. All of it, he doesn't know how to even talk. Academics doesn't
No,
know how to ask questions, and then the person over
no,
here doesn't even know how to speak. What are we
no.
watching?
We are definitely
Idiots.
robbed of an opportunity having academics to conduct the interview. There's no simple direct questions. There's never a sense that he knows where he's going when he starts talking. You miss
Yup.
tons of questions you should have asked. I don't know how we don't start with, what are you wearing and why? Just ask them that directly and clearly and make them answer the question. It is a skill, Green, to ask a simple and direct question. And a lot of
Mm-hmm.
people put a lot of garnish and fluff around it. Just ask somebody a direct, simple question. Why are you wearing Klan robes? And be prepared to follow up with the exact same question. So, why are you wearing Klan?
So why exactly are you wearing
Just
that?
follow up with the same question in a different tone, but or
Exactly.
pick out a different word. The first time,
And
like, why are
like,
you wearing
ask
Klan
about his
robes?
music too. You never
Well,
ask think about
why are
asking a question about
you?
music? Like, yo,
No, we're
you just dropped the album. This album sucks. So why did you make a trash ass album?
but yo, notice that, right? Ack had 45 some minutes with him. They talk about ideas. They never talk about the album. The album doesn't come up at all. So
Mm-mm.
Kanye's let's get attention by any means necessary. Well, your attention is for the wrong thing. Because if I just watch that and I haven't been on the internet for a minute, I don't even know that Bully is out because Bully was not mentioned. And that's a failing for
He doesn't
him.
even care about
PR.
Bully. That's what I was trying to say. It's like he doesn't care about Bully. Con- the, the
It seems like
the
that.
the thing is, when I brought up the Sway thing before, I could always see a through line from what he's yelling about and what he's being loud about and what he wanted to accomplish and then him actually accomplishing it. We saw it happen from, yo, you think I'm just a producer, but I'm a rapper. You think I'm just a producer, but I'm a rapper. then he becomes a rapper that we all respect and love him, an artist. I'm not just an artist. I'm the biggest artist in the world.
Well,
I'm the
I'm not
biggest.
just chip. I'm not just slowed up soul samples. I'm more
Exactly. I'm
than
not
that.
so solar samples. I'm not, and I'm not just a rapper. I'm a pop star. I'm blah, blah, blah. He becomes that. I made a shoe and they won't let me have my own shoe. They won't let me have all the stuff. They're trying to hold me back and I reached the ceiling, blah, blah, blah. And then he makes Yeezy. And Yeezy, every single person, every color, creed, everything is wearing those damn 350 boots. He really became that thing.
Yo,
After that, being lost, this is where he's at. He doesn't have anything. He's too many things that he's went through and all that spongeness. It became
I mean,
nothing.
we see this in right-wing social media circles that to be heard you must be loud and bombastic, but then to be heard again or over the noise of other people doing that you have to be even louder. So you go from, Obama stole the election to Michelle Obama is not a woman, right, to whatever, Joe Biden is actually dead and they're pretending that he's not, right? You have to get like louder and louder. So after Kanye does certain things like the anti-Semitic tweets, you have to get louder. You can't keep doing the same thing and you can't get more attention. So this is him getting louder.
Hmm.
But like, I don't know how much louder you can get than wearing this.
That's yeah, you're right. Like
Where else could you
there is no
possibly
way to
go from
go.
here?
I mean, there is a way to go, but I want to bring it up. But let me go to this
Wait, can you text me? Because I don't know what it is.
check your text.
What
Check your text.
are you think he's gonna like whiten his skin and pretend he's a white man now?
No,
Because
I'm gonna text it to
that
you
would be
because we
triggering as
can't say
fuck.
it on here. Um, and I texted you right now. But we have a super
You can only do
chat
that once.
from Tita. If we didn't have the Yays, Drakes, and Acts, we would be robbed of the appreciation and gratitude of artists like Kendrick. Love you guys. Thank you so much for that. And yeah, I mean there is I don't think we need those guys to be appreciate that, but everything in life is a yin and yang, and I truly believe that. So it's like as long as there's balance, it is what it is. There's going to be the
I
balance of
mean,
energies.
academics didn't even
Hold on, we got
ask
some
a
more super
direct.
chats that I don't want to miss out, and then we close out, and then we
Okay, go
don't
ahead.
have it. Somebody
Go ahead. Go
may
ahead.
need to redisconnect Kanye's jaw. I really miss Chappelle's show. Yeah, he's Clayton Bigsby. Facts. Education makes communities and individual households upwardly mobile. Black men collectively need to have a supportive mentality about Black women being educated, and they need to join us in the trades and school. Thank you so much, Afro Butterfly, one of our moderators, and she's right. I agree with her. We should be supportive of. Yeah, it's a good thing that Black women are out here. What
Oh,
do you think of that face
100%.
for?
No, I'm talking about the trade part and folks are saying it's fine to go to a trade school and
No, she
it
said both
is.
trade and school. So
No, no, I see what
whether
she's saying, but we've been having a larger conversation with folks because they're thinking too individually. Is trade school the right choice for some individuals? 100%. And society needs the honorable work that those sort of vocationally educated people do. We couldn't survive as a
we need
society
more of that than ever,
without
to
that.
be completely honest.
However, as a Black community, if you have 60 or 70% of Black men choosing to not go to a 4-year college, that is a significant amount of potential wealth for the community that is lost because
I don't think that's exactly.
in most cases you cannot make as much if you go vocationally versus to go to a 4-year college. Over the long run, over a 10, 15, 20-year span, you're almost always going to make more money going to a 4-year college. So, and it doesn't have to be the right choice for everybody. Financially, the way we learn, all sorts of things. Individuals may say this was the right choice for me. Fine.
Right
But
now,
when
the
we
most
have
millionaires predicted that's going to be made within the next. I just read about this within the next decade or so is going to be people with plumbing businesses. Check
why
it
would
out
that be? Why would that
because
be?
there's a lack of plumbing. There's a lack of plumbers. Go look it up. Somebody look it up. I just read this. There's
I'm
a
not sure
lot
how
of
that could
things.
become a growth industry or so that you could do at scale. Uh, but
Um,
we
I'm just
need
saying
more as
there's
a
a lot of
community. We need more people who go to college, especially black men. The black women are doing it. We need black men who
I
go
don't
to
disagree with
college.
that, but I think we need, as when we talk about the community aspect of black community, and I want to have that conversation. We got to do a whole video about that. We should have our boy Deontay Kyle on there because he's really knowledgeable and about that space. Is that I think we got to think about as a community. We're talking about black community. We got to think about all the parts of how a community works. You're talking about your plumber, your
Yeah,
doctor,
yeah.
your
But we need
landscaping,
if
your
we get
dentist.
20, if only 20 or 25% of black men are going to four-year colleges, we're getting way too many plumbers and other vocational folks and
No, we don't
uneducated
have any of those at
folks,
all,
not
though.
enough folks who have significant education to be able to bring in much more money to the community. If you go to college, on average, the median rise in your income is $1 million. You will probably make $1 million more than you would have made over the course of your life than if you only had finished high school. And that includes vocational. So that's a significant amount of wealth that would be robbed, that is being robbed from the black community when the overwhelming percentage of black men are not going to college.
I hear you, but we also don't have those other things. People are not also going to trade schools. That's all I just want to say.
Yeah, no,
They're
we
not
are.
going to
There's a
either.
rise in black men and Gen Z men going to trade schools because there's a lack of confidence and faith in the college experience and the debt that's necessary in going to the college, going through the college experience. So you're seeing a rise in trade school
I think
among
there
those
should.
groups.
I think there kind of should be, but because right now you're paying like $100,000 to come out of college and make 40, 35.
No, I know, but we can't. We go to college, and I mean, unless you're wealthy, you're not paying a
I think they're
hundred,
both
right?
needed. I'm not. I'm not.
'Cause
I feel like it sounds like I'm battling between this and that. I'm just saying, like for a
no,
community, all these things are needed, and yes, they all need to rise up.
no, they are all needed. We, as a community of black men, are leaning too far in one direction, and the notion that we need both 100%, but we don't need 80% of black men to be in vocational careers and 20% to be in white collar careers. That would be a problem for the
Some of
community.
those a lot of those white collar careers are going to be gone in 10 years. They're going to be gone. What do you do? Most people who have these white collar careers they send emails for a living. Whether the
No,
what the contents
that's
of
an
the
interesting
email,
point, but
hold
I
on, the
think I
contents of
think
the email are different, but they send emails for a living. Those
I
things are
think
going to be gone as technology progresses.
I think computerization, AI, ChatGPT, the things you're talking about, will again, as we've seen throughout history, have much more devastating impact on the working class than on the middle class,
I think that
or
is a
definitely not
misconception
upper
that
class.
people don't really grasp.
Do you know what the number one job in America is? The
Driving,
job that
truck
most
driving.
I think that's number two. Driving things is number two. Being a retail service worker is number one. But we have,
I thought driving was the number one. Oh, it's the number one for
the,
males. Sorry.
yeah, but the driving things in all forms, taxis, trucks, huge. I think that's number two, close to number one, huge profession. But you're old enough to know we used to go in stores and there would be more people there, right? Now we have lots of self-serve checkout, right? That's
Yeah,
a
yeah.
computer taking jobs, right? There used to be people on the highway. You go through a certain place, they take your dollar or $4, whatever.
But people
Those are
didn't
all
even
gone.
want those jobs. Let's okay.
100%.
We have to go through the
Secretaries,
numbers.
rich people, or excuse me, important people, quote unquote, used to have at least one, maybe two secretaries. Secretaries are gone. Nobody. So again and again, we see working class jobs are more quickly can't eaten up
What are you counting?
by technological advances than middle class jobs.
What are you
And
counting
the
as working
driving
class
jobs
jobs?
and that's the other point I was getting to. And the driving jobs, oh my God, those are going to get decimated in the next 20 years. It's so much easier to get a computer to drive a truck or a cab Why would you need to deal with a truck driver or a cabbie who need breaks, who want a union, who want to get paid? Well, let the
Here's what I'm
AI
trying to
drive the
say.
truck.
You're saying working class job, middle class jobs. These blanket statements might mean different things to different people right now in this day and age. Because what would you call a software engineer job? Like an entry
That's a
level
white
software.
collar job. That's a
Okay.
white collar
A lot of
middle class
software
job.
engineer jobs already are fucking gone and they're going to be completely gone. A lot of
Yeah.
these jobs where people were going to make 100K and all that are already going to they're about to be eradicated, right? And those are those type of jobs. So many jobs in that lane of entry level white collar jobs are going to be gone as well. And
I
probably sooner than the cars are driving. That's the thing
well,
that people.
I'm not sure, but I would
No, but we
point I
already
would
see the
posit
No, here's the thing. We already see, if you know anything about software engineering, we already see people hiring less people in that space, and truck
no.
drivers, self-driving cars are not a thing that's legal yet. So I'm just saying that it's possible because
Oh,
it's
that's
already there.
coming. The sort of person who is able to become an educated, academically educated knowledge worker is going to have a much easier time shifting to, oh, we're not doing this sort of software engineering anymore. Okay, I can use my knowledge, my education to shift to another set of skills that I can offer employers or use for myself. People who have narrower blue collar physical skills, I know how to drive a truck. I got a license to drive an 18-wheeler truck. It's much harder to take those skills and transfer them to another thing.
Much harder to take those driving skills and transfer to another thing is what you're saying.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just
and
all the sort
trade
of
and
blue collar
vocational
jobs that are
skills.
more physical.
Yeah,
It req-
I agree with
it's
that.
it's there's less that you can transfer somewhere else. So those jobs are endangered, and there are literally more of them. There are more people who drive or are retail service workers than people who are software engineers. So the number of people who can be losing their job on innovation in those areas is much larger. I
Yeah,
think black
I don't
men
think I
are
disagree with
are
that. I was just
are
saying that some people feel like these white collar jobs are going to be like safe or something. Like just going to school is going to, especially when people don't know what they're going to school for. Like if a kid doesn't even know what they're going to school for, and you tell them, "Oh, be an engineer," it's like, or they like this. They want to go to school for journalism or media, something like that, and things are changing on the outside or whatever. And you're in school. This has already happened to my generation. I'm just saying that happened to
so
my generation.
so you have come to my house now.
Yeah.
Intellectually speaking, you have stumbled into my house. Please have a seat. Now we can really get into it because I am somebody who went to college for 3 years undergrad, felt
Hmm.
like I don't really understand what we're doing here or why I need to continue, left, went into the real world, started my career, and then went to graduate school for a year, a 2-year program, left that after a year. But what I learned in all these situations is how to learn. And I came out of college extremely able to learn. So even as the world is shifting, college gave me the ability to say, okay, this that I've been doing is not working out. I can take what I know because I have a framework for how to learn. The information, I don't use the French that I learned. I don't talk about the books that I read. It helps me as a human being, but that's a different conversation. But
A
I
lot of that
learned
is
how
part of you,
to
but
learn.
do you feel like I'm saying that you don't need to go to college?
No, I don't think you're saying that. I
Okay,
don't think you're
cool. I
saying
want
that.
to make sure, just so the chat and anyone who's watching knows,
No.
I'm not saying you don't
Wait,
need to go to college. I'm saying there's
Tina
a lot of people
Plummer,
being prepared into college without any direction, and that's an
but I
issue.
think that's
So
okay. I think that's fine. I
no, no, it
I think it's
isn't, because
fine.
that's why black kids are
You're
not. No, no. Here's why. Here's what I mean by that. If you are being told that one, college is worthless, college is expensive, and you're not sure that you're gonna get make money after you get out of college, you're going into it with no direction, and you're like, I like clothes. Maybe I can make a clothing line. You know what I'm saying?
uh,
I like
uh,
rapping. Maybe I could rap because I have as much chance with starting a code learning and rapping as I do going into this engineering degree, and engineering and everything is changing around me. I'm not
And
saying
this
that
is
there won't be, listen to me. I just want to finish this. I'm not saying that there won't be engineers later on. I'm saying the industry and the world is developing around this. And that's going to scare young kids sometimes when they're not prepared going into that vocational school or college. That's all I'm
part of
saying
the
is that
beauty of going
self
into
confidence
a
is what's
liberal
needed.
arts college is that there is a core curriculum that intelligent, experienced educators have spent years curating and tinkering with. And they're saying, hey, freshman, you're 18, you're smart, you don't know what to study. We're going to tell you what to study. And we're going to make you expose yourself to a broad array of thoughts and thought patterns and ways of
Mm-hmm.
looking at the world. So you are learning about the breadth of the world. So as a freshman, you have some options. A senior has many, many options for what they want to choose. But freshmen don't have the same number of options, and
You
they
would
shouldn't.
hope that this happens, though. That's not every school and
And
everybody's
they
experience.
and we're gonna no, but I mean every school worth its salt is gonna have a core curriculum that says, okay, freshmen, this is what you're studying, and maybe you have 10% uh that you can choose, but for the most part, we're gonna tell you you're gonna study this, or at least these areas of study. So
Mm-hmm.
if you come to college directionless or unsure of what you want to do after college, that's fine. The liberal arts college experience is set up to accept you, show you a broad array of the world, teach you how to learn so you can learn, oh, I like that. I know how to learn that. I can move in that direction after college. This is no longer viable. Well, I also have some experience in this knowledge base, and I know how to learn, so I can shift over here. So it just gives you more fluidity with how to use your mind.
Which is what Kanye needed. But that's what Kanye
I
needed.
have a super chat from Tina Plumer. I think maybe Plummer, maybe
I think we
Plumer.
read that already.
It's this, I don't think so. It's
Go ahead.
pink. I don't know. Maybe if we did not have the Yays, Drakes, and Acts, is this what you read? We would
Go
be
ahead. Now go
robbed
ahead.
of the appreciation and gratitude of artists like Kendrick. Love you guys. Oh, you already read that?
Yeah, I think so. But
Okay, okay.
before we
Thank you for that, Tina, though. I appreciate that.
thank you so much for real. Just to put out, these are all the jobs first to go or to be transformed heavily. Data entry clerks, of course, telemarketers, customer support, retail cashiers, as you said, basic content writers, proofreaders, uh, basic coders, all the basic coding, which is a lot of people used to be on these teams when it comes to basic coding, and it's not there anymore to do a lot of tedious stuff. Fast food workers, now going into paralegals, legal assistants, journalists, where it's going to not be fully
Tell me about it.
eliminated, but definitely reshaped.
Tell me about
Accountants,
it.
bookkeepers, truck drivers eventually, and graphic designers for a lot of simple work.
I got people in the chat who are saying college
You want to hear the
is
safer
not.
jobs listed
Go ahead, go ahead,
first?
go ahead.
Creative work that requires originality and cultural nuance. Our
Like
jobs.
music, like making music. Well,
Yeah.
you said journalist already. Well, I know. Look,
Well, but
somebody in the chat.
your job actually requires cultural nuance, though. But
I love that. I love
and
that.
jobs requiring emotional intelligence, human connection, therapists, social workers, skilled trades, electricians, plumbers. And then obviously general leadership and innovation. They put that like, people always
It
gonna need
just,
a CEO and things like that. But we got
it just.
Screwface in here.
Hold on, it just jumps out at me. We can bring in Big Screw, but he got to take out the red hat. No red hats on this show whatsoever.
Nah, I felt like I had to.
My bad. I see you. We're gonna bring you in a 1 second, Screw. But there's a couple folks in the chat who are trying to make the argument that college is not worth the money. Guys, you will make probably 900,000 to $1 million more if you go to college. If you pay full freight at most colleges, that's 70, 80,000 a year. Most people are not paying that. Most people who are middle class or working class will get financial aid and will pay around $40,000 a year plus
It's not
interest
for
over time.
everybody though. We gotta
Not
say
cheap.
that.
Not saying it's cheap, but I'm saying this is a simple value proposition. If you pay about $250,000 when you're in your 18s and teens, late teens and 20s, you will make $1 million more over your career. And you will probably have a less physically taxing job. This is not hard math. There's really not an argument to say it's not worth it. If you can make the financial sacrifice and be in debt for a period of your life, this is obviously the more the more intelligent financial path. It's not even close.
I don't know, man. I hear you, and I completely agree with that on the statistic because I've heard that statistic as well. I just think that it's not everybody's space to do the same thing. I want to make sure people understand that it's okay
Oh,
to do other things. Yes,
for
you
sure.
should.
No, I'm responding to a specific argument. I have respect for my brothers and sisters who do trade vocational school work. I'm not saying every individual needs to go to a 4-year college. But if you're saying the 4-year college isn't worth it, it's a really difficult argument to make because the numbers just don't support that side of the argument. But let's bring in Screw. And I'm actually, did you watch the whole Kanye interview?
No.
Are you boycotting?
Nah, I know what's going on. I mean, I guess if you call it a cop, but I don't usually click things where there's KKK people in the thumbnails. I think I know what I'm going into at that point. So,
I mean,
Yeah.
you're right. You're right. But
So,
I mean, Green, if he had not been wearing this outfit and it was
mhm.
just Ye talks to Ack, neither of us would have clicked on it.
Yeah, I would.
You'd click on Ye talks to dumbass Ack.
Yeah, it'd probably be funny. It was fun. I mean, I
I
would.
would be bored watching those
I
two
no, but no,
nitwits.
no. I watch some act content still, and it'll be stupid. It's still stupid, but I'll look at it because I'm like, look at this dumb stuff. Just like I used to watch. Who those two idiots that used to have all the girls on
So
there?
you watch this dumbass groomer, but you won't listen to a Kanye album?
I skimmed through it, and music's a feeling, and it's an emotional, right? I'm supposed to feel something from it. I can't feel anything from Bully, so why would I listen to it? It doesn't make any sense. I don't get
No, I
anything
feel
from it.
no,
Whereas,
I
like,
feel that.
if I'm on a cruise ship, I was just on a cruise ship for like four days in the middle of the night, thing rocking, can't go to sleep. I'm watching whatever the hell. I just need to watch something. You know what I'm saying? I'm just up. Whereas music and the emotion is completely different. But anyways, I would watch.
Screw.
I hate watch shit. I do hate watch shit.
Okay, okay,
Proudly,
okay. Screw.
proudly hate watch shit. It's
Did
fun.
you or will you listen to Bully to be like,
no,
what's Kanye talking about right now musically?
nope, no. Nope.
No, 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 no,
On
no.
That's
on
an easy
principle?
one. Nope.
You're a conscientious objector on principle?
Uh, yeah, yeah. I would say that at a certain point, I would start feeling like a hypocrite um, to be to listen to him, honestly, because there was something that you said while I was in the chat that I disagreed with very much. I'm very with this subject when it comes to this. I'm really passionate just about this specifically.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's like the same thing with the Akadidi kid stuff. Like I just don't play when it comes to everything Kanye's doing. Kanye's like hit my everything on my list of I don't play with. He's hit like every single. So it's
Fair.
hard for me to once you start talking about hoes, kids. Once you like, there is
Crazy
nothing
stuff.
redeeming. It's just nothing redeeming at this. But there was
Yeah.
something that you said that I wanted to bring up. I wanted to answer because I was looking it up while you guys were talking. And when I made the comment about, you said that streaming wasn't funding because it wasn't like big enough funding for it to matter, which I said I disagree with because funding is funding. And then I said, would you buy Andrew Tate's book? You said, nah, the difference is Andrew Tate's whole thing is that's who he is, which that is Kanye. And you said, like, basically, because I went back to some of Kanye's lyrics, but he puts all of this in his music too. So
He does. He
it's not
does.
like he's just racist, anti-Semitic. He's just that he's rap. I have like actual lyrics, so there is no such thing. I understand like the separating the art from the artist argument to a point, but when that is your art, then I can't separate it. And I think it's a little
Yeah.
bit disingenuous now when we've always, there's never been a moment in Kanye West's career where we didn't add his fashion as a part of his artistry. And now because his fashion and what he's putting out in his merch and brand and stuff isn't what we accept with, we go, oh, we separate that. It's like, nah, because Yeezy, the Red Octobers are just as much as impactful as in hip hop as his music is. So you can't really like separate those two things and act like that's not a part of his art. It
I
absolutely
think
is.
you're no, I think you're right.
Stop
He
listening to
talks
him, Torre. That's what he's
he
saying.
talk no, I know, but we'll get there. He talks about the anti-Semitism, the slavery. He keeps mentioning these things. So yeah, it's impossible to go, can I separate the art from the artist? Which is a whole bizarre thing to me. That's very, very difficult for me to do in general. I don't
Uh,
separate the art from the artist.
I mean,
I
I
don't
can.
unpack him from the all the things, all the isms that he does. I listen to examine who he is. Just as Jane Goodall is looking at the murderous gorillas and the peaceful gorillas. What are they all doing? What is Kanye doing today? I will never be a fan, but I can consume it as a person who cares about hip hop just to see what did you do? Emotionally, we're in the same place. You're like, I refuse to listen because you're an asshole. I'm like, I'll listen once because you're an asshole. And
That don't make no sense.
I respect you saying, I'm not going to listen at all. That's fine. I want to see what it is. And then I will put it away and not listen to it again.
so I got a few pushbacks on that. So my thing is basically like say like Kanye's in this room. You're essentially saying you always get one listen from me no matter what you do. No matter what you put
As an
into
album, as an album,
okay,
because
so
of
yeah,
what
you
he has
always get one listen.
done musically over many years, I am curious to where the story goes. It's kind of like, when people start watching a shitty movie and then they're like, yeah, I know this movie sucks, but I want to see where it goes. And you're like,
Okay, here's my
but it's
thing.
horrible. Go ahead.
If I was watching a movie, let's say the first three albums, it's like I'm watching a Marvel movie. Like I turn it on. It's called Thanos is back. Oh, we're all in here for it. I got my Wakanda shirts on, and then halfway through, it turns into Mein Kampf. I'm leaving. I don't need to watch it to the end to know
But
that it's
but
Mein
screw
Kampf. Like
screw.
as
That is
Rams,
your
the birth of
perspective,
a
and
nation, I'm walking out.
I respect that, and a lot of people agree with that. Also, the films of Lenny Riefenstahl are a whole thing. That
I don't know who
film,
that is.
she is the main propagandist filmmaker for the Third Reich. And
She was a Yahtzee
film
propagandist.
100%
Okay.
right. And film historians watch the films and are like, she was an incredible filmmaker. The subject matter is horrific, and she has to be put in the context of she's a schmatzy filmmaker. But she's an extraordinary filmmaker.
Only
But we can't.
certain film people get into that screw, by
Yeah,
the way. So it's basically
and I
like
Sure,
also
cinephiles
go
are
ahead.
like, oh, no, just letting you
sure.
know about this woman or whatever. Cinephiles are like, oh yeah, look at her technique and shit like that. But it doesn't
Yeah.
freaking matter. Screw. No one cares about her, and she's not famous, and she's not out here in the world. She's not me
But
and
yeah,
you.
my metaphor with that would be like, okay, let's say I disagree with that too. I mean, not that it's not a fact, but the idea of it, I vehemently push against. But okay, so say um, she was alive today, right? And I think I already know your answer because your
Riefenstahl.
curiosity. What? Excuse me.
If Riefenstahl was alive today.
Yeah, she was alive today,
Yeah.
and was doing interviews with academics and Andrew Tate and literally Nick Fuentes and stuff like that. And you've seen her movies, you know what she is. You're telling me just the technical ability of Movie Street is what will push you to watch it? Because no matter what you do, you are supporting it by consuming it. Let's not separate those two things. You are absolutely supporting by consuming. So you will support just to see like the technical ability of her because it's so good.
I mean, you wouldn't say I was supporting if I consumed the art and then wrote or went on a YouTube and was like, the art is terrible, the artist is a horrible person. That's not supporting. I'm not supporting Kanye
No, no, no,
in this
no. I didn't
moment.
say.
We did a
I said.
whole we did a whole I want to say dunk destruction of Bully last week. There was no supporting. Nobody listened to that conversation and said, "Oh, I want to listen to Bully." I just told you what I thought about it, and I thought it was horrible. I think I'm not. Green made an interesting point about it's cinephiles, and you have to be an extreme cinephile to say I'm going to watch Lenny Riefenstahl and support
Crazy.
and separate the bullshit that she's about. But as a person who has cared about hip hop since the moment I heard Rapper's Delight on the radio when I was in my mom's station wagon at like 10, like, what the fuck is that? I am interested in everywhere hip hop is going. And even as we have this super famous rapper who's become a horrible person, who I've also been following since day one, right? Interviewed him on album one, right? Was rocking through the wire, like before I even knew what he looked like. I just want to see where we are. I am happy that you don't agree with me because I think most people should not pay any attention to Kanye. But as a person who's from academia, I'm like, I just want to see what you made, and then I'm going to put you back in the shelf. But I want to see at one time what you did.
A little pushback that I have with it is when you said, because there's two things I said. You said consuming and supporting. I was saying you switched what I was saying. I said consuming. I didn't say supporting. If you listen to Bully to then do a write up about Bully, you did consume Bully and you did support Bully, but it was for you
No,
to get out
nope, nope,
your
didn't
opinion.
support it. If I consume it and then diss it, that's not supporting.
No, I'm saying that okay. If somebody is doing hate, um, rage bait,
Consumption.
right?
Okay.
And their point is clearly to make people as mad as they want to be. I mean, as he wants them to be, right? And then you consume it, right? And then you make a negative thing about it. You still are doing what he wants because it's no different than anybody. If somebody
Maybe.
tweeting
No,
is
I don't.
a
I don't. Hold on. Let me push back on that. Reconnaissance in a war isn't supporting the other side because that's basically what it
Mhm.
is. If I'm doing recon on your abilities, your content, and all that type of stuff, so I can better attack you, I did not support you by understanding who you are, so I can attack you.
well, the difference in that metaphor is when you do reconnaissance, the other side doesn't get paid anything. If you consume Bully, one of the sides do get paid something. So just by the definition of, I think we're getting the word
No, no, no.
support
I
confused.
no, no. I hear you on that aspect, but I was thinking about just even us having this conversation is attention for Yay. So you could say this conversation shouldn't being habit because also you listening to it on YouTube on somebody else's YouTube when they got paid isn't paying Yay because that's how it was. It got put up on another thing. It didn't get put up on his
On
website
Bully.
on
Yeah.
Bully.
Well,
And
we don't know the top.
me personally, I don't want to listen to his music and I don't care to listen to me. So it's not really towards me, but I'm just saying you listening to something and saying, don't you ever, hey, all of you guys, don't listen to this crap because of this, that. I don't see it as like support for the individual's work and artist, but I do get you on the platform money thing.
Okay, I'm saying what I'm saying is, I guess the word support is has a positive connotation to it. I just mean when you're talking about something, the point is to make you mad. That's what muddies the word support. So if I go, if we use the war reference or something like that, if the Yahtzees are using propaganda to spread a message, right? And
Yeah.
like you said, us talking about it is in a way pushing the record. I agree with that. I'm just saying I wouldn't say I wasn't doing that right now. I am. I'm not a supporter of it, but what I'm doing actively right now is talking about this, spreading it, and having people do it. But like you said, I felt really passionate about this specifically, and I was saying that when it comes to like the Kanye, I I would argue that you don't have to listen to it at this point to know why to tell people not to listen to it, because the way he's promoting it to us. Promotion is like a trailer of a movie, right? When you roll
Hmm.
out a
Mhm,
film.
mhm.
So if the trailer is telling you that this movie is about racism and kicking black people's back in, you don't have to then watch the movie to tell people this movie's about kicking people's back. He's
Let
I
me
don't
telling you
disagree.
what it is.
let me dig
So
into one thing you're saying that's actually
uh,
a really fantastic point, because you're like, this is rage bait. So I
mhm.
told you I really don't remember a time when hip hop. I remember the beginning of hip hop, but I'm kind of a hip hop native in that I don't really remember that well a time when hip hop did not exist. Right, I'm watching it develop. I do remember. I
That's a
mean,
lie.
I got through college. Fuck you. I got through college without the internet existing, or at least without it being some hot thing that we were all talking about. I was a little bit later into my 20s before we started getting into Black Planet and like the beginnings of social media and what's that one, that MySpace and that bullshit. So
You remember Black
Ray,
Planet, but not MySpace.
yeah. So you guys are more digital natives.
Yeah.
Rage bait was like, for me as a Gen Xer, was like, what is this? I don't understand. These people make me mad, and I click on it.
Rage Bait
I
is
didn't know
only
what
probably
it
10
was.
years old.
No, I know, but
Ah,
it took me
Like
time. I think it's a little
truly?
older than that. But it took me
it,
time as a non-native to understand what was happening. So partly within this Kanye moment, I am trying to understand, not just because you heard, I was like, don't just talk about Kanye. This is a representative of the manospheric man right now. He acts the way many of those 25, 26-year-old manosphere guys, Andrew Tate guys act. So let's just look at him through that prism. And I'm like, forget the guy who's trying to put out an album. I'm just trying to understand what he's doing, because I was experiencing rage bait and I didn't know it was a thing. I didn't know what it was called. I didn't know why it was working on me. And there's other like modern internet things that he's doing that I'm like, oh, I didn't realize that you guys had fucking developed that and and allowed people to rock like that. We never did that. So part of me and
I would
modern Kanye is trying to figure out, what is he
Let me
doing?
ask y'all a question about attention economy, because we know attention economy is a real thing. That's
Mm,
basically how the president got elected, right? Like the
mm.
more
Plus
attention you
Russia,
have, the more um
help from
uh
Russia also.
what do you think help rough from Russia was? It was attention.
No, I mean, he gave him hundreds of millions of dollars, but continue.
What did what
That's
no
not the
no but I
conversation.
no no I think that is the conversation, because people say that and not understand what that help from Russia was. That money went Cambridge Analytica, that money promotes this person to get him more attention. Help from Russia is just attention. It's not its own thing. That's why I wanted to make sure. That's a real I don't like when we act like attention is not the most valuable thing on this
It's very
planet right
important.
now.
It's very
Right
important.
now,
uh,
that is the most valuable thing on this planet is attention. So I understand that. But some people believe, and I want to see if Scoop believes that no attention combats attention.
No attention
like
combats
attention.
attention? What do you mean?
No attention. Like, let's ignore
Ignore.
this so that this will not have value. Do
Oh,
we believe that's possible in 2025? I don't think that's possible.
The only way that that would be possible,
Is everyone?
it's not. It's yeah, is if you got everybody to agree to it, and if as long as everybody doesn't agree with it, then it doesn't work. So it's
Egg.
almost like all or
It's
nothing
impossible.
thing. Yeah, but the thing about Kanye is you brought up a point too, Green, that I feel like you guys kind of touched on and went off. There are people who like Kanye. I feel like we too, or who are being empowered by what he's saying. I feel like we're too worried about what we feel about it, and we're
Yeah.
going,
mm,
"Oh, everybody must think he's an idiot." No, there's a
Not
reason
no,
at
why
all.
he's sitting
no.
with Andrew Tate. There's a reason why he's sitting next to the president of the United States when he was. There's a reason. It's actually, if you look at accolades, if it's just about him looking for eyes, he's gotten way more eyes being a ragey troll racist than he did just being a musician. He was never
Yes.
next to the president before that.
Did he? Did he?
No,
Did he?
3,000%.
Absolutely.
He is more
Did he?
famous
Absolutely.
now than ever.
When it the period after, I think My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy was the most famous period, right?
No. You're
No,
out.
now
You're out of
is.
no.
No,
Life of
now is the most
Pablo
famous.
is Kanye at that reached his height, and he kept
You
going
think
up.
you think Pablo is the
I don't
height of the
think, I
attention
know. I'm
economy for
talking about
Kanye?
music plus fashion plus him being with Kim Kardashian is Life of Pablo, and after.
Okay.
Everything after is just climbing up and up and up.
Easy
You're talking
boosts, like yeah, he's like more famous
you're
than
talking you're
that's
he just kept going up, and right now off of the Yeezy brand name and all that, yes, some people are shunning him because of the craziness,
Yeah,
but what I'm
yeah.
talking about and what Screw's talking about, there are millions of people who are not, and you cannot combat that with, hey, let's start looking like this. That's how Trump won, because you have people who are like, this guy's an idiot, nothing's gonna happen. He's not gonna do anything. People are like, feel like they're so smart, and this guy is dumb that nothing's gonna happen. And what happened? He got in there 2 times on you bitch asses.
I think the difference with Trump though is that Trump's goal, he had like a mission. He wanted to get elected to something. I
Mhm.
genuinely think Kanye's main goal is just to get eyes. I don't even know if he knows what to do with it because he keeps doing a bunch of random stuff that doesn't feel like that whole running for president thing felt like it was just like somebody in his cabinet, just one of his teams, like, yo, we should do it to run a thing. It doesn't feel like he has like a strategy
I
of
don't
any
disagree with
I
sort.
that.
hold on, no, hold on. No, no, no. I think it was more strategic than you're giving it credit for on two fronts. We can talk about the attention economy stuff,
Hmm.
and we've talked about pop culture campaigns. Here was a way to do a pop culture campaign that appears like a political campaign, but it seems as though, and I don't have this fully nailed down as to what group it was, but it seems that some right wing or Republican groups were highly encouraging him, and I use that word in a funny way, to run to hurt the left, to hurt the Democrats. That so he was a plank in the Republican uh battle plan against the
Could
Democrats.
be, could not be, but
Yeah, and
either way.
even if that is the case, I could even see that when you say something like that. I don't know if that, let's say that that's 100% true. I see that scenario more being the Republicans doing that for that
Mhm,
strategy and Kanye
mhm.
thinking that, oh, they really like me. I can see it being like
Okay.
he was still just doing it for attention, but he was being used and maybe not even understanding he was being used. I'm not shooting him bail, but I'm just saying everything he done, it just feels like it's aimless, just eyes. I just
And
need
do we
eyes.
need to even understand? My thing is,
Yeah,
who gives a fuck? It's about fuck everything that he's saying and fuck everything that
yeah.
he's doing. That's all it is.
I
Because that's the attention that I feel that we need to be doing. Because no attention doesn't make him less, give him less attention. I think, hey, you see that guy over there? He sucks. So we can have people be, so we can find the people who are agree with us, and galvanize on that, because we can't not say anything and let them keep getting stronger. That's the
let
issue
me
that I have with
let
it.
me pull in, because we're about to go home, but let me pull in this one super chat from
Okay.
England. You're missing the point, Torre. Vocations actually teach way more than just the job, problem
All the way back
solving,
to
being
that.
resourceful, etc. Of course they do. Absolutely. Now, if you really want to get into that, liberal arts colleges are trying to educate the entire spirit and soul of the person and expose you to what it is to be a human being at a deeper level, and trying to get you to engage with what other human beings who are not like you are going through. So there's a far deeper spiritual thing that's going on at liberal, and we didn't even talk about that before. If you're like, you really want to get into vocational schools teaching, I understand that a vocational school is teaching more than this is what the manual says, so that's what we do. There's more to it than that. But there's a shit ton more on a philosophical human level that the liberal arts college is trying to teach you that may not come across in calculus 302, but is coming across in a lot of the things you're doing, and even things you're doing outside of the classroom. I know
I feel like
my
that's a,
college
a hard
experience.
blanket statement to put on liberal arts schools, especially now when it's just all money making bullshit and they hate their students. They only want money. Yes, you can get what you get out of it, but to blanket that with when there's so many of them just trying to make money, it's hard. I
I
think to
I
be
mean,
educated on where that exists and where it doesn't exist is more important than saying that that's what you get from college. You see what I'm trying to say? I think there needs to be nuance in that conversation. You can't just be like, this is what you get from liberal arts college. It's more so
I
like,
mean, the
this is what you
liberal arts
can get
college
when you're in this
is
environment.
but it gives you an opportunity to exercise like every part of yourself and to experience the world and different parts of the mind that you would not. Somebody wrote on one of my TikToks today, Gen Z doesn't need college because we have access to everything online. You do have access to everything online, but you being able to access everything doesn't mean you're going to know where to go, doesn't mean you're going to know who to read, doesn't mean you're going to know how to understand the things that you're reading to unlock what is this person really saying about the
I
deeper
I
meaning of
I agree
capitalism
with that.
or poetry or whatever it is that we're studying. Like, there is a much deeper relationship to the mind and the world that can be built at a liberal arts college beyond just learning how to learn a
We need to
middle
have,
class
I like that
psychology
conversation.
section.
We'll just have a whole video, a whole episode about that. But but this person, I like this person who said Riefenstahl was not, and if I said that right, not an
Reconstruct.
extraordinary filmmaker. That's just an exaggeration. She was a genre director who the Yahtzees called an auteur. So he don't agree with you. And Matt Hemming said, y'all begging me to get on my Tarantino rant, and MAGA's best friend is an anti-black man.
You you want to come on your Tarantino rant? You talking to
Go
one
ahead.
of Tarantino's biggest fans, so let's go.
Go
Let's go
ahead.
there. Let's
Go
do
ahead.
that.
Any last statements from you, Screwface, about any of this, or anything that while watching this you wanted to kind of bring up before we go?
Uh, I'm trying to think of everything.
Because you had some stuff to
I
say.
I get the oh, something to speak of what you were saying with the of my to my full Trump point, that I was saying that I feel like Trump had was trying to get elected to something. Kanye was just trying to get attention.
Attention. Hmm.
So it is impossible to make enough people ignore it where it's going to matter. But at the same time, talking about it also doesn't make it go away. The truth is, nothing you do is going to make it. But someone like Kanye West has already been etched into the culture to the point where if he wants attention, he's going to get it. So that's where I go. It's not about like you're a good or bad person if you consume it to talk about something else, right? But to me, it is all consuming it and it's all supporting it, especially in a time when attention is the most important thing. People just want those numbers at the end of the
But
day,
if
and I
you
know.
say, but if you're Screwface
Mhm.
and you have all your subscribers and you like dedicated to creating a space where people understood that that was wrong, and say you made a whole campaign behind it and people had t-shirts, actually no, let's go with you, protect hip-hop, which
Mhm.
people need to get that t-shirt. I don't have mine right now. Make sure you go to Screwface. And now if we actually get people wear, show them the t-shirt, beautiful t-shirt,
Yeah.
I got a
Oh,
green one.
had a t-shirt that.
Yeah. Now, if we actually get people to understand this concept
Nice.
and follow this,
Nice.
and they know that that is the antithesis to the messaging of this other community, that is positive change. That matters. You not doing anything, that's actually just strengthening some. Inaction is a weapon of master destruction. I love that line.
I
Inaction.
think when uh, the war is attention, inaction or action, I feel like does the same thing. You are right that if you get, to me, it ends up in the same result, because the same thing with like Fox News and CNN, they get a bunch
But
of
those are
people.
two sides of the same coin.
Yeah, but they get a bunch of
Whoa,
people who.
whoa! You can't be throwing out wild shit like that when we're about to
Well,
go. We're
hold up.
trying to wrap
Let
up.
me get to
You guys
why.
talking about two sides of the same coin. One's doing hate-filled
Hold on.
angertainment performance art. The other is
I
trying
round them up. My bad.
trying to give you the news. They may make
Okay.
mistakes, but they are trying.
Let
CNN is
Screwface finish.
genuinely
I didn't mean
trying
to
to
say
give
that.
you the
I
news.
didn't mean to say that. We'll
Fuck,
get into that
What I'm
later.
saying is,
all right. You
with
bring
this,
you bring it even. I've come from MSNBC. I worked at CNN. I was on CNN on Friday. Like you're friggin' right. What are you
but I'm
doing right
saying
now?
that's what I'm saying though. They are echo chambers though. I'm saying that I'm not saying that whatever one you like or you think is legitimate is not. I'm saying that each side has not weakened the other side. You just kind of galvanize the people who already feel like you, and then the people who don't feel like you are empowered to battle you. Which I said, there's no in that whole what's it called, trade of ideas. I feel like you don't convert a lot of people. I feel like the number of people who are actually genuinely converted, like they went in there with one thing and came out with another, is so minuscule that it doesn't matter. I think
Fair.
what really happens is you just get the people who already think like you together, and then
Yeah.
the people who don't think like you come and you do battle. This is the Drake and Kendrick thing. You do battle forever and ever 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 and ever, and no ground is done either way. And I said, since it is just art, I mean, it's not just art. Let me not say that. Since it is consuming art, I'm not saying either way is bad. Like whether you want to listen to Kanye or whatever. Now, I feel like if you listen to it, I'm giving you the okay. Let's do it one time to do it. I feel like if you listen to it, I don't want to say if you listen to it, period. I feel a certain way, but I'm trying to because if you're doing it for journalistic integrity, I guess. But I genuinely believe that when you
There you
click in
go.
there, it's not like surprising what it ends up to be like.
No, I don't. Well, I won't. I wouldn't expect to be surprised by him, but how would I know? How would I know what it
The
sounds
trailer
like
to the movie told you.
until?
The trailer to the
How
movie,
would
the
I know
picture
until I
tells you.
listen to it? And once I listen to it, then I know. Oh, he's wearing black clan robes because his album is horrible, and he's tap dancing as hard as he can to get you to listen to it. Or
I mean,
oh my God, somehow through all the chaos, he made My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy Part 2, and now I have to have
That's
an internal
impossible.
conversation
I think
about
that no, hold on.
could I
Let me
listen to
end it.
this even though I am
we
through
keep
with
bringing
him
up
as a human
albums
being?
from
Like
like 10 years
10
ago.
years
Kanye's
ago, it makes
discography
no
has not
sense.
been good.
You can't, you won't let go. That's the truth. And you're trying to
I
rationalize it
just
and
look,
intellectualize
no,
not letting go.
it's not
No, curate.
it's not
Let me finish this.
rationalization. It's not rationalization. It is an understanding that again, we talked about this with Sky, and we need to wrap.
Yeah, we
We
do.
don't need to throw away texts that we don't like. We can consume them and then put them away, but not reject them. I just want to see what it is. And I'm happy that you don't. I'm happy that most people don't. But I want to see what it
No,
is.
I get what you're saying, but
Perhaps so I can brick it knowledgeably. Because I can't brick it from outside of the club. I gotta know what the fuck's he talking about so I can intelligently say the nigga's off his fucking rocker.
If
And
it's a
nobody can
clan
say, well,
club,
did you
yes, you
listen to the album?
can.
No, I didn't listen to the album. So why are you hating? That's just hating.
no,
You
no,
can
no.
stand
It's
outside of a
I want to
Nazi
be an
biker
informed
club and
hater.
say, but you
you
can
want to be
stand
an
outside of a
informed
Nazi
hater.
biker club and say, wait, you don't have to go inside and then just be like, oh, yep, they're definitely still Nazis.
No, no,
Like,
no.
That's
There
that's
is
what I'm saying. That's
credence.
what
Screw. There is
The
credence
Nazi
to the
question
idea
is
of old
decided.
school, like how, like if this was 2001, it wouldn't be there. This platform wouldn't exist. If it was 1997, this platform would exist. This album would be on the shelf. Some people would listen, some people wouldn't, and it just wouldn't matter to the degree that because we're kind of talking about what it matters. So I understand where he's coming from. It's like this is just an album. It's just music. Like I said, he wasn't a civil rights leader. He wasn't a thought
Right.
leader. He just
Right.
has a lot of attention and he's an entertainer. He doesn't matter that much, and we shouldn't
Trump
give
was
him too
just an
much.
entertainer, too.
All
So
right.
what'd you say?
We gotta go.
We
We love
I
you
said Trump
guys.
was just an entertainer, too.
oh,
So was
all right.
Reagan.
We have to go because it's time to go. But screw
Okay.
anytime,
We'll be back
always
tomorrow.
pull up. We'll be back tomorrow.
Yeah. I'm really passionate about this particular topic. That's just why I'm
Hey, we
like
can
under the
see it.
weather.
I
We
love it.
love it.
Yeah.
I love the
We love it.
passion.
We out.